Josh Phillips here with Legacy Home Inspection Services, and I'm here with Karl Jacobsen with Zeitlin Sotheby. I've had the opportunity to work with you a few times. Really enjoyed being able to do that, and I wanted you to have an opportunity to get to know Karl a little bit. So Karl, tell us just a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, Josh, thanks for having me.
Sure.
Appreciate it. So I am originally from New York, but moved to Nashville within the last year. And prior to working at Sotheby's, I actually had a career on Wall Street. So I was there for a little over 8 years. And I come from a real estate family, though. So I think one of the things that we mentioned when we talk about today is my dad was an investor and a broker in New York for over 40 years. So something that I very much grew up around the industry. It's always been a passion of mine. I've always loved looking at properties. And doing it now in a full-time capacity has worked out really well. So
there's definitely a heritage there then, maybe even kind of be in your blood a little bit to understand those things, and then to also understand the financial aspect as well, your experience on Wall Street. Yeah,
for sure. And I think that's one of the things that I'll tell my clients as well. I really look at it from a business perspective, and I understand that home is incredibly personal for people, but at the end of the day, you are entering into a really significant business transaction. For the vast majority of people, it is going to be the single largest financial purchase of your life, and understanding the ramifications of that and what the implications are. And, I tell people, listen, if we there's no receipt, we can't just take a U-turn after you hit a certain point on a lot of things. So I think just having people understand that and not get caught up in some of the minutiae that you can get involved in with a transaction is super important.
Yeah, there's no return policy.
No.
On the house, right?
No.
Well, what do you enjoy doing? What you got any hobbies, anything like that?
So after moving here from New York, I've always been into the outdoors, so I love anything outside. I think in New York, it's a little bit limited to do a lot of those things. So anytime I can get out on the golf course or play some tennis, I'm all into it. But even it's such a breath of fresh air being down here in Tennessee now, where you're able to go for walks and there's a lot of beautiful nature to enjoy outside, is something that I particularly like.
Yeah, not as much concrete here.
No,
in New York.
No.
Well, what is it so you've been in real estate for about a year, right? What is it that you, in this first season, are really enjoying about your job?
I think it's the human connection. So when I worked on Wall Street, I definitely had human interaction there, but I was a trader, so it's a lot of looking at computer screens and a lot of time in the office. So I think for me, getting out and about into the community, working with people kind of on a boots on the ground approach is something that I really enjoy, and I think that being able to help people realize their dreams of home ownership, and particularly with a lot of first-time home buyers, it's particularly rewarding. That being said, it's also something where it's constantly evolving and changing day by day. It's no one day looks the same as the next, and I think that's something I knew in this next evolution of my career was something that I was particularly interested in.
So there's 1,000+ realtors in Nashville, even more than that in the Middle Tennessee area.
Yep.
What is it about you that maybe sets you apart from the rest?
I mean, I think one of the biggest things that we alluded to before is that my financial background, I think, is pretty unique. I'm certainly not here to moonlight as anybody's financial advisor, but having me in the room as part of the conversation certainly helps. And I think I can see things from that lens to make sure that you're not only making a sound real estate decision, but it's also really a prudent financial decision as well, and what the implications of that might be. And I think the other thing is that communication is hugely, hugely important in this business, and it's unfortunate that there's a lot of agents that do this pretty poorly. You got to get the details right. You got to get the communication down. It's so important, and deals can really fall apart when that's lacking. And I think it's just integral to putting your best foot forward.
Sure. So Karl and I had coffee together several months ago, and that's one thing that you mentioned to me that really impressed me when you said that you really want to make sure that your clients are making a sound financial decision, and it's not just, I just want to get the commission, and this house I'll get a bigger commission here than at this other house, but that you really want to set them up for success. And I think that speaks a lot to your character in the way that you do what you do. So if you're looking for a great agent that's going to have your back, Karl's a great guy to talk to. We're going to place his contact information here at the end of the video, so you'll know how to get in touch with him. Karl, thanks again, man, for doing a short interview with us and for letting Legacy work with you. We really appreciate it.